Hi everyone, Izzy here with Sustain Ed Farms. Today we are going to be making pots that do some self-watering. So all you need are a container of some sort. So I have a couple different examples. So this is just a milk carton, an empty water bottle, and once again another empty plastic bottle with a cap. This one doesn't have one. You can make it either way. So then you'll need some cotton string, or another type of string or twine that absorbs water. So try to stay away from acrylics, like those that kind of feel a little bit plasticky. Those don't absorb the water well, which you need in order for the pot to water itself. If you have a cap, so one of these, you'll want a hammer and a screwdriver, because we're going to make a hole in the cap. If you don't, then you don't need those. You're going to need scissors and or a knife, because we're going to be cutting these bottles in half. You'll need some water, and then you'll also need some soil. And if you have them, you either need plants that are already rooted or some seeds. So I've got some already rooted plants here, and I'm going to move them to the side while we prep our bottles. So what we want to do is we're going to create some inverted bottles. That means we're going to cut the top off, flip it upside down so that it rests in the bottom of the container. So you can do that with any of these types of bottles. So all you're going to do is make a little puncture hole with the knife. And the reason I do this first, you're going to do it about halfway, however tall you need it for your plants. And about halfway is pretty good, because then you'll have half filled with soil and then half filled with water. So there's a little puncture hole, and that's just to serve as a place to get your scissors started. Once you have those holes, you're just going to cut all the way around the container, and watch out for your assistants, like my dog Mira here. They can be quite inquisitive. So you're just going to cut that all the way around until you have two separate containers. Once you have your bottles, your containers all cut, you can just stack them like this. Okay, so now I've got three different types, and the bottoms of each of these is going to be filled with water. Okay, and this is going to be your water reservoir. And the nice thing about the clear bottles is you'll be able to see when you need to fill them up. With this solid bottle, the carton, you will have to take that out and check it. You'll probably want to do that about once a week or so, depending on the size of your plant and the size of your container. So you can see I'm just filling them up most of the way. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put these to the side, just so that I don't spill all that water. Now, the one with no cap is already good to go, but the ones with caps, I'm going to need to make a small hole inside the cap, because that's where the string is going to come out of. And to do that, one of the methods you can do is you can take a nail or a Phillips head screwdriver, place that right in the middle. You'll want to do this on a solid surface. Just give it a couple taps until you have a hole right in the middle. What you're going to do now is take a couple lengths of string. So what you want essentially from the string is for it to be all the way at the bottom of the water. So I'm going to measure from here. But then I also want it to get about midway up the rest of the bottle. So I'm going to do mine about this length. And I'm going to do about 4 strings per bottle. And these strings are what's going to carry the water from your water reservoir up into the soil and the rest of your plants. So I've got 4 strings here. I'm just going to tie, put them through your cap like this, and just tie a knot about halfway up this string. So that way half of the string kind of hangs out in the water, the other half of the string is going to hang out in the soil. Go ahead and screw this cap with the string inside right back on. And I've got right here, and it'll just sit like this. You want the strings to be completely submerged. And the way this works is once we fill this with soil, the strings are also going to bring the water up through the, from the water reservoir up into the soil. Just going to place my soil in this top container. And the nice thing about the cap is it stops the water from seeping too much in or seeping too much out. Okay. So I'm only filling that up about part way right now because I'm going to put my plants in next. So I want some plants that have some pretty good roots, or you can have some that start from seeds. So these plants have been growing in this water for a pretty good amount of time. You see how this one's kind of topsy-turvy? It's not really staying in place like I want. I'm just going to put a little piece of tape on the side to keep it upright. And that's just because of the design of the bottle itself. Each container is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to put one on each side. Cool. And so what you'll see here is you'll have the string in the reservoir, and this cap doesn't need to be submerged. It can be, but it'll stop being submerged as time goes on and the water goes up from the string. And that's why you need an absorbent string, because it needs to absorb the water from the water reservoir to travel up and come up into the soil and the plant. And then you have yourself a self-watering planter. So now for the bottle that does not have a cap, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fill it with a few rocks from my yard first. And I'm going to try to get rocks that are going to be a little bit bigger, because the purpose of the rock is to act as a stopper between the string that I'm going to put in it and the soil that's going to go on top. When I'm placing this string, I do have to be a little bit more careful, just because I need to put in the measures to keep it in place. So then I'm going to throw in my larger stones here, and I might throw in a couple extra and kind of try to maneuver it so that the string is in the middle. So I've got a couple rocks just to keep it in place. You can really use any type of rock for this. This is just what happens to be in my yard. And so once again, we'll then put it in the reservoir. You want the string to be fully submerged. So you might have to get it a little bit wet first before, so it stops floating to the surface. So I have a couple different types of plants. So these are both trailing plants. You can see all of these nice roots. I'm going to just wrap these throughout this soil. So I'm going to dig a little bit. And I really want them to just kind of be incorporated. And then top it off with some more soil. You can see why I'm outside, because it's a messy process. We're just going to press that in. And then the nice thing about these is you don't have to top it off with water on a daily basis, because it's getting water from that reservoir. But in order to make sure the water is packed through and that it's stable and I have enough soil, I am going to give it a little bit of water to start. So just a little. So the square one is the exact same process. And the reason this works, even though they're this paper material, is because the inside is lined to prevent liquids from seeping through the paper cardboard material. So these make a great planter as well. Well, thanks for joining me today. Have a great day.